AM 1430 KRGI, 105.5 FM. Good morning. I'm Brian Gallagher. This is Community Connection. It's brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda, Nebraska's only combined Toyota Honda dealership. Thursdays, we turn our focus to education here on behalf of Grand Island Public Schools. The guy that focuses on communication, Mitchell Roush. Welcome back.
Hello. Thanks again for having me.
We talk about a lot of things whenever he comes in. We had a chance to work before in previous life, but as we focus on this situation that is Grand Island Public Schools and the number of people it touches, the amount of impact it makes in the community, there's something that's a little bit overdue, and we're going to talk about that.
It's called
a communications audit.
Absolutely. So, you teed that up really nicely, Brian. Thank you. It's like you've done this before, right?
Oh, it's not my first rodeo.
Just to give a little bit of context for folks, we are the largest school district in the state of Nebraska that's not part of the Lincoln-Omaha metro area. And we're the 6th largest in the state, and that's awesome. We're proud of that. But we have a lot going on, and that also means we have a responsibility to try to continue to improve our proactive communication with our families, our staff, our students, and our community. So part of what we're doing, first time since 2008, so it's been a minute, we are doing a district-wide communications audit, mainly because we feel like it's a good time for us to take the temperature of our various capacities for how we're communicating with folks. Are they getting what they need to know? If so, where? If not, how can we be better?
One thing we discover over time, and being in the communications business, we feel this every day.
Yeah.
But communication is a two-way street. While it may seem like the radio talks to you to share information, that information still has to come from someplace. Or it's a case of where we need to know what you want to know so we can share that information, and I'm getting the same vibe from you.
1,000%, right? Two-way street is a great way to capture it because we know that we're trying to do an awful lot to effectively communicate with folks, but we also need to know if it's working or not, or if it's effective or not, if there are gaps that we need to fill. We want to know that because, again, we want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can by our staff, students, families, and community. So one aspect of what we're doing is you can find this on the website right now, GIPS.org. We have a communications survey. It's electronic, it's anonymous, it'll be open for about 2 weeks, takes about 15 minutes to fill out, and you can select the language that you need to select in order to fill it, and it's open to families, staff members, and community members to share about how they feel about district-level communication, how they feel about board communication, how they feel about school communication, and some things that are working and some things they would like to see done differently. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us some very valuable data so we can kind of move beyond the anecdotal and say, we've heard this in the community a few times, but now we'll have some quantifiable data to say, like, this is a trend. This is one way we're doing well, or one way we can be better.
I'm in a unique position, and I will admit this, is that I see and hear and feel a lot of things directly from Grand Island Public Schools because of my involvement through broadcasting
For
games
sure.
and the interaction that we have on a regular basis. But my perspective admittedly changed when my kids graduated. Okay, so the oldest graduated 03, the youngest graduated 07.
Yep.
Well, if it's been since 08, that's a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And so if you don't have kids directly involved in the school system, your perspective probably has changed. Now, if you have the influences, like whether it's my professional involvement or it's something where you are looking for candidates to come and potentially be part of the workforce at your particular business, maybe you have other family members, kids, grandkids, neighbors, friends, whatever it is, but there's an interest. And there are some who still want to watch, feel, and understand what's going on in the school system every day. Kudos, but yet that communication becomes even more important for them. We all have our own levels.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what we're trying to service, right? I think we can all agree that a community is only as strong as its public school system and vice versa. And we want to honor that commitment. And so part of that includes trying to make sure that we are hearing from the folks that we are trying to communicate to so we know what's going right and where we can be better. Another aspect of this audit that we're going to be doing is we're going to be hosting 10 different focus groups from different capacities around the community. And they're going to sit down an hour at a time with a third-party communications auditor to have in-depth conversations about what's going well, what do we need to do better. And those focus groups will, be dedicated to teachers, administrators, leaders in the district. We're going to have different groups from different family capacities in the community as well, especially around the different languages we have in the community. We're going to have students represented. It's going to be a really good chance to go in depth and have that go together with the survey that we're giving out to loads and loads of people as well, too.
Mitchell Roush works with communications on behalf of the entire Granite Public School system. And as you talk about the data gathering and the focus groups and so on, suddenly the memories start to kick in about how this has triggered different things that are in place or are in plans for Granite Public Schools. So this information is important.
It's hugely important. And, back in 2008, they did a communications audit in almost the very same capacity. And at the end of that, the third-party organization that helped them synthesize all the data gave them like a 50-page packet and had like 12 big takeaways for the school district to say, here's where we think you could be better. And one of them was, you're too big of a school district with too much of a thriving community to not have a communications person. So that's what led to them hiring Jack Sheard. And Jack really helped establish for almost a decade the foundation of what we're doing now at the school district in terms of communication. So we feel like that's a good benefit, and we want to do that again to be able to say, like, it's been a while. In public relations and in communications, kind of best practice is, when do you want to try to take stock of your communications level like that? When is a good time to do these types of surveys? Most best practice would tell you when you have a big transition in leadership, or when you have transition in your department, or when you have new faces on your board. Well, we check all three of those boxes, and all three of those things are exciting things. But again, we think that gives us a good opportunity here to take stock of how well we're doing in our community and to be able to look at things more proactively and say, let's be better.
My memory gets murky, but if I remember the steps that happened after that last event, that's where CPI started to emerge. You started to think about the academies. You started to think about the targeted learning, but yet you still have to maintain that path. And then as it has grown, we've seen new buildings. We've seen more growth just within the community of Grand Island Public Schools. So there are a lot of things that are still influencing the path today. Success, but you still have to take that good hard look. Where are you now?
That's right.
What can be better?
Absolutely. And so it will inevitably lead to some exciting things, just like last time around it did. You were spot on, Brian. And so it starts right now with us offering the free anonymous survey for folks. So again, go to GIPS.org. It's on our homepage. It's also on the homepage of all of our school websites. And you can find the communication survey. It's electronic. You can do it on your mobile device or on your desktop. You can do it in multiple languages. It's free and it's anonymous. Should take no more than 10 to 15 minutes. And we just want unvarnished feedback from folks. That's going to be hugely helpful for us as we look at what we want to do and how we want to grow and how we want to be better for the next few years.
This might be the most impactful invitation you get this year. Don't miss it. Mitchell Roush, it sounds like a great effort. I can't wait to see and hear the results and feel that progress that comes from that. But take advantage of it. GIPS.org is where you will find it. Take advantage of your chance to have your say. Mitchell, always a pleasure. Come back, okay?
Thanks, Brian.
Good morning from AM 1430 KRGI and 105.5 FM.